This is our third video for today, and it's going to be on loans. Lending. Lending is the heart of this real estate business. Unless there is financing, nothing is ever going to happen in real estate. Okay? So you've got to have pretty good credit. If you're going to buy a house and you're not buying it cash, you've got to have good credit to get the loan. Okay? So a buyer comes in here and they see Paul sitting there and they say, Paul, we want to buy a house. Well, maybe they're not able to buy a house. They say, Paul, we want to see 10 properties today and we're going to buy one. Well, what if they're just wasting his time? People do that because they think Paul has got nothing to do and he's just sitting here waiting for them to walk in. So this is what I do. I say to them, the broker, always blame me for everything. Nemo loves to do this. The broker is responsible. So the broker requires that we have to have a credit report. We've got to know, and I'm very nice to the people. I say, we have to know that your credit is good where you could buy something, you could borrow the money. Well, what if they say to you, this is a question Nemo would ask, we have all cash, we're going to buy it cash. Well, maybe they're telling the truth, and maybe they're not. I operate on a negative assumption with a very positive attitude. So even though they said that, I'm not going to believe it. So I'm saying, okay, but our broker wants to see a verification of funds before we can, direct you to properties and work with you. Remember, I'm trying to protect us from being exploited, all right? So I said, the broker, the company requires, we have to have can we make a copy of just a page of your bank book with your name, we'll cross it all out, that shows that you have this money available. Or we could run the credit report. If they say, no, I don't want to run a credit report, I don't care, I am not going to give you any information, that's not a buyer. And that's a person you don't want to work with. All right? Unless you really know them, do not work with that person. So I tell them, most people who are serious, they will say, okay, and this is the form you use. We have to have their approval to run a credit report. And that gives you what's called a FICO score. FICO scores under 600 are going to be very hard to make a deal. So FICO scores above 600, it's probably workable. Lenders do not like to see late payments. They get very upset at that. If they see a foreclosure or bankruptcy, they get upset at that too. Okay? So the credit has got to tell me that you could borrow money. So let's say you're putting 20% down on $100,000. That's $20,000, right? That means you've got to borrow $80,000. Now, are they going to lend you $80,000 based on your credit? Well, hopefully, yes, if you've got good credit. Meanwhile, if you don't, why are you going to spend time with these people who want to waste your time? And maybe they have nothing to do on the weekend and they want to look at wallpaper and get ideas for decorating. This is not what you want to do, or you'll burn out and you'll hate this business. So you got to work smart. Okay? So if the person says, yeah, here's for a credit report, and you start filling these things out. If it's a husband and wife, you need 2 credit reports. Okay? If it's just 2 people who are going to buy it together, you still need 2 credit reports, but you need 2 separate pages for each one. You could charge legally up to $45 for a credit report. Okay? So you could charge $20, you could charge $30, you could charge $35. The other day I did $35 is what I did it for. Okay? Current address, birthday, current address, previous address. Okay, they're authorizing you to run a credit report. And then Marion and Terry, they run the credit report. It comes out, and remember, then you can show it to me, you look at the FICO score, and it tells you a lot. Now I hope people should be able to do this when they're going to date. Okay? Because you got to know what you're getting into. Okay? And if you don't, you can get into a lot of trouble. Wind up with a stalker who's bankrupt. He's looking for you to support him. And it happens. Now, let's say that person checks out. And and you show them a property and they want to buy it. That's when you use your purchase agreement, okay? But besides the purchase agreement, you can do the loan, because we are also a mortgage company, okay? And you can also do the loan for them. Better you than a stranger, because remember, the banks are not your friends. The banks are there to make money, right, Fred? You go to a bank and you think you could trust them? No! You cannot trust the bank. Don't ever think you could trust the bank. It's a big mistake. They are there for one purpose, and one purpose only, to make money. They lend money, they make money. They lend money to Paul, and he pays them 4% interest. I have a savings account, and they pay me nothing. No interest. They're making 4% just by moving money. That's why you want to become a lender, in a sense. You lend money on second trustees, or third trustees, or first trustees. It's a pretty good business. But all you do is move paper. At least a plumber is honest and does something for his work. Or a contractor. Right, Anthony?
Yes.
You do something real. But the banks, they just move the paper. And they're using your money. That's the beauty of the banking system. They're using your money, Andy. And they're lending it, and they're making money on your money.
Same like IRS.
The IRS. Oh, they're together. If I'm in prison tomorrow, you'll know somebody saw this video. What do you got, Mimo?
Well, where it says handwritten, 1003 filled out completely, why does it have to be handwritten?
Because the lender wants to see it. They want to see that you did it by hand. Let me tell you what happens as far as I know. The original that you take is going to be by hand, and the people are going to sign it. It's an original document. Then Marion or Terry is going to transfer that information to the Calyx system, which runs us about $600 or $700 a year for that system that the lender wants to see. Okay? And they transfer that to the Calyx. Right? JR, you've seen the Calyx. You've seen the printout. That's the
That time
Calyx.
they write real bad, can it be typed first?
Well, it's very simple. If you do it really bad, Terry's going to call you in, and she's going to say, what the hell are you doing? How can anybody read this? Now, what did you write here? And that's what she's going to do.
And then when she rewrite
And
on
she's
it,
right.
or what?
She's going to put it in the computer the right way. Now, the lender may want to see the original. Sometimes they do. That's okay, we have it, and we could FedEx it to the original to the lender. But you'll go to the person's house, and you will fill out the 1003. Now, Paul, you were going to say something?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm just taking
So,
it back.
the more complete the 1003 is, it's 2 pages. This is not brain surgery, okay? This is not, it's tedious work. You know, where did you work? How much money do you make? What is the car? How much you owe on the car? You know, you got to do it. The lender wants to see that. And you do what the lender says, because if you don't do it, you will not get the money. The lender says, go out in the parking lot and stand on a box and sing the national anthem.
Do it.
Do it. You don't ask why. You just do it. All right, you make it work. Okay. The more complete the 1003, the faster the loan goes. Okay? So when the lender asks for things, you get it. Now, over here, Terry, Marion, and another office, we get what the lender wants, all right? And we make a package. It's like a story. The lender wants to see a story. And you got to be sure you tell the right story. Because when you want a low interest rate, the lender wants to get as much as they can from you. See, it's once again, buyer, seller. Lender wants money. They don't care about you. You want to get a cheap loan. You don't want to pay a lot. The more complete the 1003, the faster the loan goes. Because after they get it already here, it goes to the lender, and it goes to a person called, anybody?
Underwriter.
The underwriter. That's right. The underwriter is critical. You piss off the underwriter,
Oh, man.
and your loan is not going to
Oh,
move.
boy.
They'll take your loan, and they put it on the bottom of the pile. That's what they're going to do. nobody speaks to the underwriter except the agent. But in this case, it would be the processing, in this case it would be Terry. Or it would be someone else. The manager, let's say, would talk to the underwriter. Only one person talks to the underwriter. Because if it's one person, the stories don't get mixed up. Okay? This applies, let's say Anthony wants a $200,000 construction loan for a project. He got paid up. The lender is going to lend him the money based on the 1003 and the neatness of the package. Not only that, listen to this. The lender wants the package arranged a certain way. The information has to follow a certain sequence. And the lender says to Terry, this is how we want the package. And then we make the package the way they want it. We never ask why, we don't care. We do exactly what they want. Okay? Or we don't get the money. The lender doesn't care. Because especially today, getting loans is very difficult. They're looking at everything. And they like to deny it because they really don't want to lend money. I don't know what's going on. But right now, that's the way it is. They don't really want to lend money. Okay? Now let's see what do we got here. Handwritten 1003, that's critical. $25 for the credit report or $35, whatever you want to do. The green card, if they are not a citizen, and their Social Security card. Credit report with any letters of explanation. So if there's a late payment, we got to make a letter. All right? And we got to send it to the 3 agencies, and then we got to show it in the loan package. Okay? Pay stubs for 3 most recent usually, bank statements, mortgage statements or rental agreements. They'll ask for canceled checks. The lender will tell you how many months. Sometimes they ask for 12 months. They actually asked me for 12 months once. Remember, the lender can say and ask for anything. They are like the supreme authority because without them, nothing is going to happen. And they know it. Okay? Loans such as a car loan, again, the lender might ask for canceled checks. So if you have a car loan, the lender will say, okay, show me you've been paying the car. We want to see your canceled checks. That's why you do everything with a checking account. Don't do anything with a checking account. And never pay cash if it's a rental, because you have no documentation. I'm in a situation now, a person wanted to rent. She paid cash for 15 years. Now, the house she wants to rent, the owner said, no way. How do I know she paid cash? How do I know it was what she's saying? It was a documentation. Right, Richard? Documentation.
Nick, if you use a Visa or MasterCard, like credit card.
Well,
those
okay,
are
then you get all your
documentation too.
reports,
Yeah.
and you mark them all for the lender in red, so the lender can see that this is, and then they want to see that you paid your Visa. Is it current? Give us the last statement of your Visa. See, this also applies if you're renting a property to someone, because you want to get a good tenant. It's the same thing. When you rent a property that one day you buy and you rent out because you want to start your financial pyramid, right? You want to buy a house, you want to rent it, you want to refinance, you want to buy another house, you keep doing that, okay? That's what you do. So you keep the credit good. Always document everything. W-2 forms, tax returns for the last 2 years. Now, in the case I'm in now, they want to see a 2013 tax return. I don't have mine ready yet. They want to see that. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
What were you going to say, Paul?
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they want to see the 2013, which I don't even have mine ready yet. Okay? But if they want to see it, you get it. You do it real fast.
Yeah.
Okay, divorce or bankruptcy papers. And then there were disclosures from in my case, Paladin is my mortgage company. And we've been doing it 20 years. Let me tell you about loans, too. If you go to someone, let's say you don't know, you go to a bank or another mortgage company, and they don't know you, they're not friends with you, they don't care about you. They want to get as much money as they can from you. You're a borrower, that's all you are to them, okay? They're going to make money one way or another. if you are representing your borrower, and you are sincere, and you really want to help that borrower, you got to shop that loan. Meaning, you got to contact maybe 5, 10 different companies with different mortgage rates. One's charging 5%, one's charging 4%, one's charging 6%, and they say, oh, you got a late payment, we're going to charge you 6%. So, the person you have representing you, you got to feel that they are really going to protect you, and they're going to shop this loan. Now the banks, remember, the banks lie. One way or another, they're going to get money. Okay? So I don't really use banks. I always use mortgage brokers because I know them, and they shop the loan. They call it shopping the loan. You shop for money. You're going to borrow money the way you're going to go buy something. You're going to pay $10 in this store, or you're going to pay $6 in this store. It's the same thing. It's money. So you got to shop the loan. Shopping the loan is a lot of work. Okay? But if it's a close friend and someone you care about, you will do this. Okay? And you will come up with the best possible loan because you shopped around. Okay? So, what is that statement? Caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. If you're a buyer, you got to be very careful. All right? And if you're working with someone you could trust, then you're ahead of the game. Okay? But you got to get documentation, and you got to shop that loan. Remember, lending is the heart of the dragon. The loan is the key to any transaction. You're going to have a lot of other little things to take care of, but the loan is critical. Okay? Especially if you have a buyer that's marginal. If you got a buyer with a 650 FICO, they're going to try to get more interest. They're going to say, look, your buyer is not strong. You know, we got to charge more money. Well, if the buyer had money, he would have a better FICO. You see what I'm saying? So they're punishing you for not having money. And that's the way the system works. Okay? So anyway, it's very easy to do a loan. But Terry or Marion, they will tell you, Jose, this is what we need. Go to your borrower and bring us this. And they put the package together because they are the loan processor, right? So you have the loan processor, and then at the bank or the big institution, you have the underwriter. The loan processors are the ones who talk to the underwriter. That's the best way to do it. And then everything goes through Terry or Marion, or even Isaac. Everything goes through one person, so he knows or she knows what's going on. And then we can correct it with the underwriter. And that's the whole lending business. So all you need is the 1003, and then Terry and Marion will do the good faith estimate on it, which is, if it's a friend, we got cheap as we can go on it, which we always do. So we always have referral business. All right? So that's the end of the lending thing. You can all do a loan now, basically. All right, Nicky Wicky? We're going to sign off until next week. Who knows? All right? I say bye-bye.